Hey y'all, welcome back to my kitchen. Today I'm going to make something that is both delicious and highly sought after. With everything closed, a lot of people are not able to get stuff that they love, like Asian food. So today I'm going to make an Asian-inspired pasta. Go ahead and get your water started on to boil, because you're going to need that. And then we're going to get some veg set up. I've got frozen spinach, because that's what I have. Frozen corn, because that's what I have. Green onions. And a head of cabbage. We are not going to use anywhere near this whole head of cabbage. But this cabbage is where we're going to start. So I'm going to come over here to the side and just cut a little bit of it off. And then we're going to go ahead and put this cabbage away. I recommend going ahead and rinsing it one more time. It's just good for your food. Alright, so our cabbage has been rinsed. And we're just going to cut that up. What I do is I just shred it pretty finely, because you want it to cook down at about the same rate all of your other vegetables do. Now, the cool thing about this recipe is that if you wanted to, say, add a protein to this, you can. You just need to start your protein first. So we're going to go ahead and get this pan going. And I like to put it on the lower end of medium heat and just let it warm up. It's going to get hot enough to cook everything that you want cooked. Take out a couple of green onions. And I'm going to go ahead and rinse these pretty good too. Alright, so we're going to cut green onions. Take off the tops. And then take off the tails. Like that. And the whites, we're actually going to cut pretty thick. And then the greens, we're actually going to do that. And then the greens we're going to cut pretty thin. The greens are going to go on top as a garnish. Alright, so there is all of our vegetable cutting for this whole thing. Alright? I'm going to give this a test to see if it's hot enough. Sprinkle some water on it. If it disperses right away, it's hot enough. Alright, so you're going to add just a little bit of oil to your pan. I'm using extra virgin olive oil because that's what I have. You can use coconut oil or canola oil if that's what you have. Just make sure you coat your pan really well. Alright. And you're going to go ahead and throw your cabbage. Now I'm using a lot of cabbage for a couple of reasons. One, it's filling. And two, it's extremely good for you and very low calorie. And you're just going to get that cabbage in there. You don't need to salt it. You don't need to add anything like that. You're going to flavor these vegetables in just a little bit. Alright? So you're going to get these in here, and the heat is going to start to cook these. And we're just going to let that cook down for a few minutes. And the blessing of this whole dish is it's only going to take about as long to do the whole thing as it takes you to make your noodles to go with it. Okay, my water is not quite to a boil yet, so I'm going to keep an eye on these and wait for that water to boil. Alright, so my water is almost to a boil. I'm going to take some salt and salt my water pretty liberally. When salting pasta water, you want it to, the phrase is to be as salty as the sea, so that your noodles have some sort of flavor. Give these a stir, and you can see these have already started to cook down a little bit. Alright. Alright, my pasta water is going pretty good. So before I throw my pasta in, I'm going to take my green onions and just dump those right in here like this. Give those a mix in there. Let that cook. And keep it at this low heat. Now, I'm out of spaghetti noodles, lo mein noodles, soba noodles, so I am using ratatouille noodles because that's what I have. And that's why I'm not calling it lo mein, it's just an Asian style pasta. Just take that, cook it according to the directions. And so this says 9 minutes. I'm actually only going to boil it for about 8. Okay? Stir your pasta. Alright, at this point we are going to go ahead and make our sauce. And it does require a measuring spoon. You're going to need it, use it. So what I do is I take a tablespoon of soy sauce. And give it just a little bit extra if you want. Alright. And then you take... I forgot to get something down for this. A teaspoon of sugar. And you do want to go ahead and at this point mix that sugar until it dissolves. So just take your fork. Mix that in there really good. Alright. Stir my vegetables. Stir my pasta. Alright. So after that comes sesame oil, if I can find it. Alright. This also takes a teaspoon. You don't have to go as heavy on that if you don't like sesame oil, but it is going to help give it some of that flavor. Go ahead and take the top off, and you're going to need a 1/4 teaspoon of ground ginger. Okay. And that's another thing that you can go liberal on, or you can go liberal, or you can do it a little bit lighter. But ginger has a lot of really good health benefits, so I do recommend making sure it's in there. Alright. Let's actually turn that down for a minute. Now, I've got about 5 minutes left on my timer. And I'm going to go ahead and add my frozen spinach now. because on this low heat, it's not going to overcook. The thing you want to wait until you're about when you add your pasta in for is going to be your frozen corn if you're using it. Because that frozen corn is going to heat through pretty quickly, but it's also going to give it some texture as well. Alright? So just let that chill out. Make sure you keep stirring your pasta. Alright. Now, do note that if you don't want to use sugar, you can actually use honey. I would just use about half as much because it's going to be a little bit more potent. The next thing you're going to want is just some Sriracha. I don't really measure the Sriracha, just kind of add enough that it looks good. If you want heat, add a lot. If you don't want heat, add a little. If you want to leave it out, you can leave it out. Alright. And we're actually going to add just a hair more soy sauce to this, because it looks like I'm not going to have quite enough liquid. There we go. Alright, give that a good stirring for a second. The next thing you're going to want to add is oyster sauce. This stuff is magical. It's going to add a nice umami to it. But if you don't have oyster sauce, you don't have to use it. Also, if you want to stay vegan or vegetarian, you can leave it out for those reasons as well. It is going to alter the taste of it a little bit, but most Asian cooking is going to have oyster sauce or fish sauce or something like that in it. That's not going to be 100% vegan. Alright, so we're going to just mix that up really good. Okay, now, I've got about 2 minutes left on my timer, so I'm going to go ahead and add my corn in. Okay. Just give that a good thorough mix. And like I said, at this point you can actually leave the heat pretty low, because you don't want to cook that corn down to where it loses its texture. Alright. So there's that. Alright, once your pasta's done, drain your pasta. Don't rinse it though. And throw it right into your veg. And just give that a good stir. You want to get everything pretty well incorporated before you add your sauce. Alright. And at this point, make a little well in the middle. Add just a little bit more oil to the center. And then take your sauce and drizzle it all the way around. Alright. If you want to give it that lo mein type texture, turn your heat up a little bit so you fry your noodles off some. And then just mix that in. And you'll start to smell it real quick as that sauce cooks just a little bit. And it should start to turn the color of your noodles just a little brown. after just a few seconds, that's gonna take all that you need, and go ahead and turn it off. Okay. And of course, the final step is the plate up. Just pick it up. Move it into a bowl. Alright. And there you have it. Asian style pasta, almost lo mein. Hey you guys, thanks for hanging out with me. I know this has been a difficult few weeks with all the quarantine and being stuck at home, and a lot of you have probably been stuck with kids as well. But thank you guys for just going through it and getting it done. I hope some of these recipes have really helped you guys out. I hope you guys have a wonderful afternoon.